mastery in front of them, it should have grading on the front. Where'd your mastery go? Okay. We need them out. I should be able to see them out.
I need your mastery, right? Oh, the third.
I don't know if he ever turned it in.
I don't know if he's here. He might have absent.
So if there's anybody else, anyone not have the original? Anyone not have the original? Anyone else? I got it. All right. So aside from the original mastery that has my writing on the front, I want everything else I shove under your binder for right now. My plan is that you will have work time before you leave class, but there's just too many papers out on our desks. So you do have it. So here's the deal. Notice that I did not grade the entire thing. One, I started to get kind of disappointed, and I was like, all right, we got to talk about these things together. And I'm tired of just me marking it wrong, and you see the X, and you move on. You don't even think about why did I get this wrong. Like some of you do, but some of you just see that you got it wrong, and you're like, oh, and you just move on. The point is identifying why we got something wrong, or what mistake we made, or what thing we didn't look at close enough. So we're going to go question by question. I need you to have something in your hand that is not a pencil. A highlighter, a pen. Oh, I meant to get the bins back out. No. Try again.
Something that's not a pencil.
So I'll bring some more highlighters around. Because you want to make notes about why you miss things. So a lot of us, I don't know why people are talking at the same time. I'll wait. However much work time we have is up to you guys. A lot of us were already headed towards getting a progressing just from the first page. So I felt like if we were going to spend time going over it, I might as well save a little bit of ink and effort and the whole like, oh, like I got a bunch of X's, I got a bunch of things marked wrong. I'm going to let you do that to yourself, but it's more important that we indicate why, right? Sure, we got it wrong, whatever, but the more important reason is what happened, why did we get it wrong? Reminder, and if anyone wants to get up and do this now, these were due last week. So if you did not turn them in, 522, I'm going to collect tomorrow. Just by the way, I'm collecting papers like literally 2 days after I assign them now. So you should have 522 done today. I'm collecting it tomorrow. So as we saw, nobody had it done today. So try to get it done tonight. So on our first problem here that you do have graded, but like depending on how, like why you got it wrong would depend on what grading I like indicated here or what notes I wrote in. Did you draw your arrows, right? Look at your paper. Did you draw your arrows to show the distribution? Did you accidentally do 7 plus 3 first? We do not add first, right? Order of operations, PEMDAS, we do not add first. Or if you didn't answer this, write down whatever you need to answer this. And I guess this is an important thing to talk about. This original test with my writing on it, before you leave, you are going to staple with your follow-up. Notice how similar the follow-up looks to the original test. That's on purpose. So when you're working on the follow-up, you should be using the original test to help you. So you can write whatever you want on this original test. You can write down what the right answer was. You could highlight what you forgot to do. You could draw what you forgot to draw. Like, take a moment. Does anyone have questions on why you maybe got this wrong?
I feel like what I saw on a lot of people's papers was the 7 plus the first one. A lot of people were trying to add 7 plus 3 together. So if that's you, look at how that's not how this is solved.
Multiplication comes before addition. Questions up here. I mean, this is your chance to figure out how to do it on the follow-up, right? All right, that's number 1. And of course, I'm recording. You can always come back to these and check them out. Number 2 had a couple negatives to watch out for. In A, there's only one negative involved, right? So 7 times negative 3, and if you're looking at this saying, no, but minus 3. Can we minus 3 from 9n? No. So it's not minus 3. It's actually a negative because we can't do the minus. Any questions on why you maybe got A incorrect? I need to take that away. Because you have something in your hand, writing notes on what you don't have done. Turn your chair.
You guys could be writing down the answers.
We're on 2.
Even if you don't
You need to be taking some
have
notes
it
on
correct.
what you didn't get done yet. So I'm going to give you a moment. Any questions? I even moved the plus 9 on part C. That 9 was in front. It was set up like 9 minus 3. But I knew that was a trap door, so I moved the 9 to after the parentheses, trying to help you avoid the trap door. That negative 3 right, has to distribute. Questions on 2? Any questions? A, B, or C? This all makes sense now? Guys, I'm telling you, the follow-up is exactly like this. If this doesn't make sense, the follow-up won't make sense. So you need to ask questions. All right. I'm not going to waste time, though, so I'm going to be able to give you guys time to work. What makes like terms versus not like? Like, what can we add together? What can't we add together? Lakin? Yeah, X's can go with X's. Y's can go with Y's. Z's can go with... But if it's just a number, like minus 8, or really negative 8 here, right, because we can't do the minus, those we call constants. And constants go with each other, but they cannot combine with the X's. Any questions on how I got what I got up here? Notice how there's a lot of 37s and a lot of 25s. That's not an accident. So if you messed this up, maybe grab 2 different colors of highlighter, highlight the X's in one color, and the just numbers in another color. Maybe highlight the X's in one color and the Y's in a different color. Can I put X with X squared? No. We cannot put X with X squared. Sorry, my purple's a little tough to read. 2 bad guys make a bigger bad guy, right? Negative 17x and negative 8x, they combine to make a bigger bad. Questions on this? All right, moving on. Guys, this is a trapdoor on purpose. Look up here. These 2 stores give you the data switched around. Tony's Tulips tells you tulips and then dollars. Flynn's Flowers tells you dollars and then tulips, and that got some of you. When we go to do this division, this is what I would highlight if I was you. When they ask us cost per tulip, this tells us what to do. What is per if I need to figure out a per? So if you remember from our talk earlier, if we need to figure out a per, what does it tell us to do? Ooh, yeah, divide. So guys, I would make this note on your paper if you goofed this up, or even if you didn't goof this up. So we're going to take the cost divided by the number of tulips. That per statement tells us what to do. Cost per tulip, dollars divided by flowers. So we can figure out the price at the 2 shops. Then we got to figure out the dozen. How many's in a dozen? 12. Right? A dozen is 12.
I thought a dozen was 10.
So again, those are always things that you can double check, like during the test or whatever. Of like, wait, how many's a dozen? Like, I'll totally tell you that. But that is something that you should start to like. That's a word you should have memorized. Anyone know what's going on with the price of dozen eggs right now? Anyone's parents complaining? That is not why. You're right with what you're saying, but that's not the why. Why are egg prices really high right now? bird flu happening right now, which is why, like, if the birds have bird flu, you can't eat their eggs. So egg prices are. But you buy eggs by the dozen. It's 12. Dozen is 12. All right. Hey guys, this problem I made way simpler than years before, and some of you I think got so scared by the amount of words. I did not grade this for you. So flip your paper. You've used a packet before. You know how to do this. Look at what you did. My way is not the only way. Right? My way is not the only way. But if we decide to take my advice of like how far each could go in an hour, lightning's done. They tell us lightning speed. It was 22 in an hour. How many 30 minutes do we need to make an hour? 2. So I take my 30 minutes and I turn it into 60. Guys, you can write down anything you want right now. If you didn't do this problem, because it looks like some of us got scared of all the words, if you skip this problem, write down something right now. Like, I'm not grading what we're looking at right now. I'm done with what we're looking at. What I'm grading is the follow-up. Your homework tonight, which we'll start here probably about 10 minutes. The goal is for you to have time to start the follow-up and work on it together. And then how many 10 minutes do we need to make an hour? Anybody? Yeah, guys, I'm not using cards today, so when I'm asking questions, you can just like call out what you want. Times 6. So it's all about setting up the proportion. Proportions. If you needed a reminder about proportions. So then, after what we found out, here's our finishers making Zippy not so zippy. Now wait, who can tell me how I got from inches to feet? Right here, somehow I go from inches to feet. To anybody? We divided. Now guys, this is not top and bottom, right? Because this is just saying I want to keep this number but change it to feet. So really, like off to the side, I really did 252 divided by 12. That's how I got my 21 feet, because inches to feet, again, there's 12 there, like that dozen, 12 inches in every foot. All right, moving on. Mrs. Pettigrew, amazing baker, but I hope she doesn't spend this long on her cupcakes. If she can do 4 cupcakes in 15 minutes, how many 15 minutes to make an hour? 4. So we can do times 4. And if we do it on bottom, we got to do it on top, times 4. Hooray! If you did not do this problem, I would be writing something down because it's very similar to the follow-up. We're not there yet. Did I click too fast? I see what happened. So just your true confession if you want to know what happened. So with my answer key, the stuff was like kind of so close together. I cut out Mr. Combs's to get the picture of that problem. So here is Mr. Combs's problem. So if he has the 400 miles and is trying to get to 1,000 miles, how do we go from 400 to 1,000? Well, if we don't know, divide backwards. So to make it into 1,000, It's a times 2.5 there, right? Times 2.5. Yes.
What I did is that I was like, okay, so I made it into 1 mile because I was like 1,000.
Sure. Yeah, there are other ways to do this. Yeah. Did you get 45? Yeah. There you go. Different way to get to Florida, but you still got to Disney. Questions with Combses? And again, if you went and tried to find my video from last year, I had more complicated numbers. We don't need to work with complicated numbers. What I need to know is, do you know how to do this? Do you know how to get from like 400 to 1,000 and do the same with the other value? So same thing with Pettigrew's cupcakes. How long would it take her to make 80? Well, if it's 16, I'm using CC as cupcakes. I just didn't want to write out the word. So if you worked in minutes, you'd get a different answer. You'd get 300. But if you switch to hours, it's 5 hours. It's a lot of dedication.
That's a long time.
Sometimes things take time. If you care about it, you're willing to put in the time. All right, number 8. My older brother, Brad. I don't know if this data is accurate, but literally, he had his first job in 1995 delivering newspapers. I was 6 years old, but he was 12. So if it's 180 papers in 3 hours, how many in every 1 hour? And then how many in 2 hours? Or actually, not, well, our answer ends up being 2 hours, but we're trying to figure out the 120 papers. Anyone notice anything interesting about the papers compared to the hours? Jackson? Can anyone Yeah, there's more though. It's even cooler. How many minutes are in 3 hours?
180.
So what is Brad's rate, really? What is Brad's rate, really? 60 papers in 1 hour, 120 in 2 hours. His rate is really 1 paper per minute. It's literally 1 paper per minute, because if it's 60 papers in an hour, this is 60 minutes. Right? It's a paper every minute, which is a pretty quick rate. All right. Now we got a little bit trickier with the numbers. How do I go from 1 to 4.5? Ooh, crap. Sorry. Other way around. We don't know that. We figure it out. Sorry, this is why I leave all my notes here. This. Guys, this is what I think some of you probably did not do. What we're looking for. We're looking for how do I go from 6 to 27. So if we don't know, guys, this is, I would write down what's in that red box. If you don't know what to multiply by, we divide backwards to figure it out. So the answer we were looking for was inches. So the answer was actually 4.5 inches, or 4.5 inches. Yes. We can chat after we get done going over the whole class, okay? On number 10, this is made up. I have no idea, bless you, if Mrs. Hassanin is actually into model trains or not. I just like putting the other teachers into these problems. So I just thought it was funny to say that Miss Hassanin, you can't see Miss Hassanin like at her house, like choo-choo, like controlling the little, it's got a little baby conductor. And it would be a Sheldon thing. So, check it. If you want the scale, you're trying to clean it up to 1 of something. And normally with models, it will tell you like, oh, the real one compared to the model. So here they're telling us the real one was 42, when the model was 6. 42 feet compared to 6 inches. That's okay as long as we keep our labels as we go. So how do I get to 1 inch? Well, from 6, divide by 6. So divide by 6 on top, and we get to 7. Questions on part A. How we got 7 feet for every inch. So then we use that, and some of us got confused with the phrasing here. Ignore the words. like, 'cause you could have come and asked me, but like, this confused some people where we said real train engine and 3 cars. Forget about that. All we care about is the 182 feet. So we're trying to get to 182 feet. If you don't know what to multiply by, how can we figure it out? Divide backwards. So if we divide backwards, we get 26. And then we can finish that way. You're going to get me this on your paper? Because you're not even looking at the right page now. Hasane knows I put her in my test though. So if you go ask her if she's into trains, she'll maybe remember. I told her last year when I wrote her into the test. If you're into trains, by the way, we do have the Ohio Railway Museum here, like pretty much in Worthington. It's like right at the corner of the town. It's near the railroad tracks. But if you're into trains, we do have a cool train museum here in town. I'm also trying to like kill some time while people actually write things down. If they're deciding to actually write things down, because I see pencils moving, so that's why I'm wasting time right now. There's a lot of train museums in Ohio. Guys, trains were really important to our like development of everything, because trains were one of the first things that could haul big stuff. Like there were no semi-trucks back in the day. All right, moving on to number 11. How do I get from the one triangle to the other? Well, if I compare the bottom to the bottom, how do I get from 4 to 16? That's a times 4. So what must be happening with every piece is times 4 with every piece. If I was you, if you didn't do this, I would get a highlighter and color code some of this. Or maybe write down what I wrote down. So how can we figure out that question mark side? Well, if we're doing times 4, the smaller one was 5. We do times 4 to get there, and we get 20. Questions? Oh, that went way fast. On 12, I give you the way to start. 8 feet 1 inch. You don't have to have feet on top. If you put feet on bottom, that's totally fine. I just put feet on top because I felt like it. But wherever you put feet, your feet need to stay there. So since I put feet on top, I keep feet on top. I put inches on bottom, I keep inches on bottom. So then they tell us we're going to 3 3/4 inches. How do I go from 1 to 3 3/4 times 3 3/4? If I want to use the decimal, what's the decimal of 3/4? Yeah, because 3/4, remember, is 75%. So 3 3/4 or 3.75. On 13, guys, this is very much like you'd have to do your own grading of did you say enough of like x squared is a square. Like remember, I'm not taking this test. This is for me to be able to grade what you guys wrote. So you need to make sure that you understand x versus x squared. Is x a square? No, right? Is x squared? Yeah. What about x? Never changes? The 1. On x, 1 is always 1. But on x squared, do we have a 1? No, we just have x on the one side, x on the other side. So like whatever differences you wrote there, or whatever similarities, make sure it makes sense to you of what's the difference between x squared and x. Hopefully 14 is here. Yeah, okay. So then area Those are my two. I show how we do area first, writing out what I'm multiplying. So guys, if this doesn't make sense, I write it down right now. My 4 came from 1, 2, 3, 4 on that edge. My top edge, well, I had 2. I'm going to do it on the bottom since I already wrote it on the top. I know that is an x. I know that is another x. And I know that is 3 more. So that's how we get to 2x plus 3. Area, so it's length times width. Length times width. So I set up 4 times 2x plus 3. Or I could count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 x's. How many ones? We got 12. Questions? All right, my goal is to be done by right about now, so we're on the final question. I don't know why this scooched down. Area and perimeter. Now be careful with that left side. Right, that left side, we talked a lot about this in class. The left side, if we look at this and this, that's my x minus 1. Those pieces together, right? This piece and this piece, because they would have been x, right? This would have been x, but then we missed, we like cut out, we kind of jumped over that one spot. So that edge is x minus 1, and then we've got some extra pieces. I'm going to leave this up here. You have the next 10 minutes to either on your own or with a partner work on the follow-up. These need to be stapled together. So I would right now take your original test and staple your follow-up on the front. Because these need to be stapled together. If you lose this, like you're going to have to come talk it through with me. I would staple them together right now. I should see a lot of people moving to go staple those together. Follow-up should go on front. Put that follow-up on the front. Oh, maybe I did change it to 2x on your other. Did it say it up here? Either way, as long, like, it's okay. If my answer key is slightly off, like, it's okay if you, like, I would not have counted you wrong. Yeah, hey, Liam brought up, Liam brought up this meant to say 2 x's. So I should have drawn a second x up here. But that 2 x's just means the x tile twice. As opposed to x squared means it's a square x tile.